Well, hello there, how is everyone? I hope you're all well, you amazing, beautiful, wonderful people. And it's still Monday. I'll be glad when today's over. I won't be doing a live later, I do apologise. I'm waiting for a delivery, and the delivery didn't turn up, and I'm literally waiting for this delivery. But as soon as it's here, we'll be back on track, back in it. So just please keep your eyes peeled, and I will be back doing lives ASAP. I just couldn't stomach the Windows situation. I wanted to come away from Apple. I wanted to give it a shot, coming away and going on a Windows platform. And all I can say is, fuck that. So I'm going back to Apple. I'm going to set up a mobile Apple studio away from the main one, and start doing lives every day. So bear with me. Promise. But today we are talking about DNA, once I get this working. Yeah, we're talking about DNA because a load of us who have been following the Idaho 4 case, and, you know, the big bone of contention is DNA. I see it quite simply. I see it that if the state has got everything they need, and they believe they've got enough to go ahead, which you've got to look at it in one of two ways, and that is they indicted him with a grand jury, and that was either to purposefully avoid the defence getting hold of Bethany Funk and being able to have that conversation, or they felt that their case was weak and they wanted to avoid a preliminary hearing, or they went down the route of grand jury because that's just the way that things go. They felt that was the best way to do it, so the defence couldn't sort of slide the way out of anything, maybe a technicality perhaps, and they feel their case is strong. But if their case is strong, then why just not pull the trigger? Probably the wrong phrase, but I mean, get on with it. Get on with it. The only reason that this trial hasn't happened already, or isn't happening now, or isn't happening this year, is because of the prosecution's reluctance to hand over discovery. But like I say, DNA, like a lot of people will turn around and say, well, his DNA was at the scene. This is a fucking done deal. Do you know what I mean? How did it get there? They fail to understand that, first of all, look, this isn't an Idaho 4 video per se. We're going to get on to something else. Don't worry. And I'm going to, it'll all make sense in a moment. But loads of people, they don't understand that the sheath is movable. The sheath is movable. It must have had his DNA on it before it got into the property. So, you know, that's not proof of Brian Kohberger being there. That's just, if you want to argue, you could say it's proof that either Brian Kohberger touched something that touched the sheath, or touched someone that touched the sheath, or he touched the sheath directly at some point before it entered the property. So that in itself would not be enough to convict. It just wouldn't. Obviously, it doesn't look good, and there's a load of other stuff in the background they all have to tie together. But surely they must have that by now. If he's in the position that he's in, they must have that, right? But the trial's being delayed, and it's being delayed because Ann Taylor is asking for stuff, and she just ain't getting it. And that's a concern. But back to DNA, we have a situation happening over in Colorado where there is a doctor, or a specialist, should we say, who specialises in DNA and has done for decades, who is now being investigated for the manipulation of DNA results. I'm going to read it to you. Colorado Bureau of Investigation finds DNA scientist manipulated data in hundreds of cases over decades. A now former forensic scientist with the Colorado Bureau of Investigation manipulated or omitted DNA test results in hundreds of cases, an internal affairs investigation found, which prompted a full review of her work during her nearly 30-year career in the agency. Now, before we go any further, I'm just going to say, why would somebody do that? Why would somebody do that? Either that is that generally when someone does something, there is a gain from it. They are set to gain something from this. So if they're manipulating DNA results, why would you do that? Now, we don't know all the details in this. There might be another reason, but my first go-to is that, was she manipulating results to give a result, of perhaps a positive result, because she had been leveraged or bribed into doing so? So it says, look, where are we? Right, the CBI released the findings of the investigation in Von or Missy Woods Friday, which concluded Woods' handling of DNA testing data affected 652 cases between 2008 and 2023, including posting incomplete results in some cases. A review of her work from 1994 to 2008 is also underway, according to CBI. This discovery puts all of her work in question. The CBI is in the process of reviewing all of her previous work and data manipulation to ensure the integrity of all CBI laboratory results. Well, surely, over the last couple of decades at least, they probably shot the fucking bits if she's had a hand in them. The agency said CBI brought in third-party investigative resources to protect the integrity of the inquiry. We've seen how these go when people investigate themselves. Woods, a 29-year veteran of the agency's crime lab, was placed on administrative leave in October after the CBI became aware DNA sample testing performed by Woods may have deviated from standard operating procedures, the agency said. She didn't perform any laboratory work thereafter and retired on November 6th, it said. A separate criminal investigation into Woods' conduct is ongoing, and the CBI said it continues to work with law enforcement agencies across the state. Colorado Attorney General Phil Weiser declined to comment on the criminal case against Woods when contacted by CNN on Friday. The CBI internal investigation, which was conducted in collaboration with the Kansas Bureau of Investigation, did not find Woods falsified DNA matches or fabricated data. It revealed Woods had omitted material facts in official criminal justice records, thus tampering with DNA testing results and violating agency policies ranging from data retention to quality control measures. The agency said. Public trust in our institutions, well, they're not going to come out and say anything different, are they? They're not going to say that she was falsifying and putting people away wrongfully, because then you're going to have a fucking shitstorm. You're going to find out in a second. This is already costing them a fortune. Public trust in our institutions is critical to the fulfillment of our mission, said CBI Director Chris Schaefer. Our actions in rectifying this unprecedented breach of trust will be thorough and transparent. Analysts train generations of scientists, attorney says. So she was training people as well, by the way. In a statement on Friday, Woods' attorney Ryan Brackley said the findings support Woods' earlier statements that she never created or reported any false inculpatory DNA matches or exclusions, nor has she testified falsely in any hearing or trial resulting in a false conviction or unjust imprisonment. Brackley said his client had been a loyal and dedicated forensic scientist during her time at the agency and has worked with and trained generations of prosecutors, scientists and law enforcement agents. The agency said its forensics team discovered Woods' deleted and altered data that served to conceal evidence of her tampering, as well as her failure to troubleshoot issues within the testing process. The agency said Woods' manipulations appear to have been the result of intentional conduct. The CBI said it's also conducting a comprehensive audit of all DNA analysts to ensure the accuracy and completeness of its entire catalogue of records. As part of this process, the agency said it discovered a separate case in which an analyst with the Weld County Sheriff's Office at the Northern Colorado Regional Forensics Laboratory may have also manipulated testing data. The Sheriff's Office announced last month it fired the DNA analyst and the result of an internal investigation as a result. And it says the Colorado Department of Public Safety has requested almost $7.5 million from state government to review and retest DNA samples after anomalies in the forensic testing of one scientist were discovered. Based on an early assessment, the CBI estimates approximately 3,000 cases will be required to retest through a third-party accredited laboratory for DNA retesting, according to a report provided by the Office of State Budgeting and Planning. The cost of retesting is estimated to be around $1,000 per case, which equates to $3 million, the Department of Public Safety said. Additionally, Colorado district attorneys will be responsible for reviewing the legal ramifications of impacted cases, working through the post-conviction review process, the presenting cases for retrial. So here we go. Now we've swung back round again, saying there is perhaps people who need to have their cases relooked at and retrials in the event that people have indeed been affected by this. So the earlier stuff was perhaps inaccurate. The Colorado District Attorney's Council estimates a statewide impact of 72,000 hours to their officers to address this situation through reworking cases for a total cost of $4.392 million. The Department of Public Safety has also requested funding to hire an accountant to facilitate the payments to Colorado District Attorney's officers. Now, why would that be? Think about it. Boulder District Attorney Michael Doherty told CNN in a statement his office has identified 15 open cases and 55 closed cases in which Woods has testified as a witness. For the past several months, prosecutors around the state have waited anxiously for information because of the impact on victims, the accused, and our ability to do justice, Doherty said. District Attorney's Office did not have information on how many of its cases were affected by Woods' conduct and emphasised it is too early to know whether any cases will need to be retried. It does go on a bit, but it kind of rambles a bit. Woods conducted an early microscopic examination of hairs collected from the crime scene. This is in a crime. Here we go. The suit slams Hunter was wrongfully convicted of the 2002 burglary and sexual assault of a mother and a daughter by a suspect who was wearing a mask. Woods conducted an early microscopic examination of hairs collected from the crime scene, which was used as evidence to link Hunter to the crime, the lawsuit says. Preliminary hearing dismissed the charges against him after a separate examination found the hairs belonged to the victim, the suit says. In acknowledging her error in the examination, Woods told the court it was a blow to her ego, according to the lawsuit. But 10 months after the crime, new evidence of her hair was introduced in the case as evidence and used to indict Hunter for the same crimes, according to the lawsuit. There was no verification or record of collection of this hair from the crime scene by the Crime Investigation Unit, the suit noted. Hunter was ultimately convicted on the charges based on the hair evidence, which was examined and tested by Woods, the lawsuit says. Last month, attorneys for Woods filed a motion to dismiss Hunter's complaint. So there was just one example of a case that she'd been involved in where we've got a similar situation to the Brian Kohberger, where you've got evidence that there seemingly is no trail of where it was found, who it went through, and that's what we're looking for in the Idaho 4 case. But I guess what we learn by this is that sadly, even DNA can be manipulated. And who knows why she did it? Was this law enforcement or an agency utilising her to get the results that they needed? Let me know down below. Have you heard about the case? What have you heard? If you've heard anything, and I will be following it, and as more comes forward, I will let you know. But like I say, keep your eyes out for videos upcoming and lives. And stay amazing, and I'll catch you all tomorrow.